I never have been a big fan of building any types of enclosures around electric or gas meters. And what you're looking at here is a small cover or enclosure over a gas meter. Now, if you live in an area where they need to be protected, there's a lot of snow, a lot of rain, or something like that, even heat in some cases, then I got you. Yeah, go ahead and cover it up. But if you live in an area where I live in Southern California, there realistically isn't going to be a need to cover these up. And you can't cover them up while creating problems for the rest of the building. And that's kind of what this particular box has done. You know, they built it, it's all masonite siding, so it's not a real high quality product. And they didn't build it correctly. I mean, let's face it, the top piece of siding, which probably shouldn't be a piece of siding, maybe a piece of plywood would have been better, should have at least extended over the side instead of having the side protrude up. That would have been a benefit. You could have at least let it overhang. If you cut a sheet of plywood, for example, and you let it hang over about a half inch around the perimeter where the water could have at least dripped off of the edge instead of leaking through the what supposedly would be the roof covering here. Like I said, a piece of plywood would have worked a lot better than the masonite. And of course, you know, again, I understand why people do things like this. We just need to put a little more thought into doing them. Now, the biggest problem is going to be with the part of the covering that attaches to the siding. As long as you keep this area caulked and painted, or should I say waterproofed, you know, or at least water resistant, then you're not going to have or I should say you shouldn't have a big problem. Usually when I end up taking something like this off, the area where it attaches to the building is usually rotted, and that's because moisture will get trapped in the masonite or in the construction standard lumber that you're using to build the enclosure. It'll get trapped in there and it'll remain moist for long periods of time, eventually creating problems for the siding that is attached to the building. So again, something like this, if you need to, yeah, do it, but at least do it right. Put a little more thought into it. Try to use the right materials. And if you don't, then realistically, why put it on? You know, hey, I don't want to look at the gas meter. It's right there. Well, try to figure this out when you're designing the building, you know, if you can move it. There are plenty of things you can do with the gas meters. You know, even if you just built a box around it, just some type of a decorative box, and you removed it from the building, you didn't attach it to the building, you kept it about an inch or two away, and of course checked it regularly, you'd probably be better off in the long run than attaching something to the building that hasn't been built correctly, that could create problems for the building. Like I said, something like these, I can't tell you how many times I take them, something like this apart, I remove it from a building and the area behind it is rotted.